in India, in this era of globalization and internationalization, we find many changes, many developments that have taken place and still taking place. The first major issue is paradigm shift in higher education. Under this heading, we can see many developments. Number one, the domain of higher education is moving from national to global education, which is also known as borderless education. Then secondly, we are also seeing the shift from general education to the skill-oriented education, because market forces are demanding skill, particularly cognitive skills among the learners. Number three shift is education which was meant for a few is going to become accessible to all people. That is, higher education should be meant for all. And it should reach the common man in far-flung areas. This is the vision of the NEP of 2020. I hope that many of you have read the report of NEP. Even though some state governments are not willing to implement this NEP, but still it has got very good principles like flexibility, quality, autonomy, employability, and international dimension. The another shift is we are moving towards learner-centered education from teacher-centered education. Today, learners are the stakeholders. They are very important. And therefore, teachers are only facilitators. Teachers are only motivators. And they are the mentors. They play a very important role. And therefore, learner-centered education has become a very important contour of the present day higher education. Then there is also a shift from one-time education to lifelong education. There is no end to learning. Even a professor is a learner. He is a continuous student. Because every day we find new changes, new developments across the globe. From that point of view, higher education has become a lifelong education. That is why the NEP of 2020, even earlier NEPs, emphasized the importance of teacher education, training for teachers, upgradation of the knowledge, updation of the knowledge, no question of stagnation. And that is why it has become a lifelong education. Then another change is we are moving from traditional teaching method to technology-driven method, ICT, information, communication technology has become very important. All the teachers of disciplines, whether they teach social sciences, biological sciences, natural sciences, or physical sciences, or any discipline, they cannot escape from adopting what we call ICT, information, communication technology. Every teacher must have a computer. From that point of view, friends, we have to think about the new developments in the method of teaching and also in the field of pedagogy. Now, this requires because institutions of higher education play a very important role. Yeah, Jawaharlal Nehru said, to understand humanism, progress, adventures, and also to generate new ideas. We have to generate new ideas. Man is innovative. Man is creative. Man is a wonderful animal. We do not know what will happen in the 21st century when we go for AI, artificial intelligence. Whether AI will replace the teachers, the manpower, or will it dominate the human life? We have to wait and see. But man is becoming more and more creative. And that is why it has been pointed out by several scholars. And even the Kothari Commission of 1968 said the destiny of the nation is shaped in the classroom. Teachers are the arch bearers. This is the first what you call major issue that we are witnessing in the domain of higher education in India and elsewhere also. The second issue is expansion of higher education. Friends, remember when we got independence in 1947, there were only about 20 universities and 500 colleges with enrollment of about 1%, less than 2%. But today, there has been enormous expansion of higher education. Today, we find, according to 2022 report, 1,055 universities of different categories. 1,055 universities. 54 central universities are there. 456 state universities are there. 126 deemed universities are there. And 419 private universities are there. If you come to Karnataka, friends, earlier during 60s and 70s, we had only 5 universities. But today, there are 32 public universities in the state of Karnataka. Almost every district is having a university in Karnataka. There are problems, there are challenges, but nevertheless, there is an expansion. Even the NEP of 2020 has been what you call advocating the establishment of university in every district, by 2030, in another 10 years. That is its goal. And therefore, all important commissions like National Knowledge Commission headed by Sam Pitroda and NEP are emphasizing 3 aspects. Number 1, expansion, it is taking place and it has taken place. Number 2, inclusion, accessibility to all people from rural areas, from disadvantaged groups, and excellence, that is very important. We have to achieve excellence. Quality is being emphasized by different commissions, committees, and the NEP of 2020. And therefore, friends, today, the enrollment in the domain of higher education has increased to nearly 38%. That is very important, 38%. 19.6 million boys are there, 18.9 million girls are there, almost equal. And particularly, states like Tamil Nadu have expanded the realm of higher education by giving opportunity to the boys and the girls. And that's why, it has become very important in the field of higher education. The NEP of 2020 wants to establish higher education institution in every district. And it wants to increase the enrollment by 50% by 2035. In another 10 years, in another decade, the enrollment ratio should become 50% according to NEP. The state governments have to cooperate with the central government because we all know higher education is in the concurrent list. Education itself is in the concurrent list. Item number 25 in concurrent list of the Constitution, which is called the third list of the Constitution. It is also emphasizing open distance learning and online program. Distance education is to be encouraged so that there will be more accessibility, more affordability, more equity in the field of higher education. The UG program may have 3 or 4 year program depending upon the atmosphere in a particular state. There may be, 2 year MA program after 3 year program, 3 year BA program, or 1 year MA program after 4 year, BA program. Now, this is the important recommendation made by the National, Education Policy of 2020, approved by the Government of India, headed by Narendra Modi a few years ago. Now, the third major issue is excellence. How to achieve the excellence in the field of higher education? What is the role of the teachers? What is the responsibility of the teachers? That will be the topic of the next lecture. But even then, you cannot underestimate the role of the teachers. Amartya Sen, Nobel laureate from India, said 2 decades ago that university education in India is in a state of crisis. It is a deterioration in quality, he said. What he said in 1919 is true to some extent in many universities and in many colleges. Because of the limited number of teachers, low infrastructure, and limited facilities available for the learners, and various other factors. Keeping this in mind, as early as 1948, the Radhakrishnan Commission, Dr. Radhakrishnan was a great teacher. He taught in the University of Mysore from 1918 to 1920. He became the ambassador of Soviet Union in 1949. Later on, he became the chairman of the UNESCO. Then he became the vice president of India for 2 terms. Then he became the president of India in 1962 to 67. He got the Bharata Ratna Award. His birthday, September 5th, is being celebrated as a Teacher's Day since 1962, you all know. And this man was appointed as the first chairman of the first Education Commission of India by Jawaharlal Nehru. Nehru had great respect for him because of his scholarship and leadership qualities. And his commission submitted the report in 1948, and it emphasized well-balanced quality education. That is very important. Well-balanced quality education by giving importance to all subjects, liberal subjects, science subjects, and also language subjects. Friends, we all know, and you also know, that when we were the students, during the earlier period, we had very good teachers, dedicated teachers, committed teachers, devoted teachers, disciplined teachers. That is very important. A teacher is the torchbearer. A teacher is a transformer. I will come to that point in the next class when we discuss the role and responsibility of the teachers. And therefore, the commission, second commission, appointed by the Government of India, namely Kothari Commission, emphasized 6 aspects for quality education in India. 6 aspects. What are they? 1, quality teaching and research. That is very important. When you go to the classroom, you must be a master of yourself. You are the sovereign authority over the subject. Not only in shaping the syllabus, designing the syllabus, but also in teaching with very good communication, with body language. Communication skill is an art. Please remember. A teacher should have a sense of audience. You must understand what audience is. Are they first year students or second year students? Have they come from rural areas? Because the quality of students differ from area to area and from place to place. When they come from disadvantaged families and rural areas, we have to give them special attention. Then only you can ensure the quality. You must understand what they want, what you can give to transform them, to change them, to make them more and more intelligent. And also it emphasizes quality research. That is very important. Research should be socially oriented. The findings of the research should be applicable to society. Today, how research is going on in the field of science and technology, in the field of computer science. AI is based on your research, your innovative thinking, your creative thinking. Because I told you earlier, man is very brainy. Man is very intelligent. 20th century world today is different from 21st century world. We do not know what will happen to the world in another 1 to 2 decades, 10 years or 20 years. You will see what will the world will change. Entire scenario will be changed. Man is going to conquer, I believe, even the death. Man is going to conquer even the old age. In China, I learned they are already manufacturing the drugs to prevent the old age, to make the man to live for more than 150 years. It is genius. It is wonderful. It is innovative. And therefore, man always thinks about new things, new developments. That requires quality. Quality research can transform the society. Curriculum design is very important. Don't teach the old books. What we teach today may become outdated tomorrow. Therefore, every 3 years at least, curriculum should be changed. It should be upgraded. New subjects are to be added. Students must be made to read original texts. That is very important. Today, unfortunately, books are not being read by the students. Teachers are not going to library. Smartphone has become everything. Laptop has become everything. It is very unfortunate. Books are our friends. Libraries are our temples. It is well said, reading makes a full man, conference a ready man, writing an exact man. Underline the statement of Francis Bacon, who said in the 17th century, reading makes a full man, conference a ready man, writing an exact man. Today people are not writing. Today people are not reading the books. It is very unfortunate. We have to make them to read the books. We have to tell them to review the chapter of prescribed books. They should read. This is there in America. In America, I have seen students are asked to review the prescribed text. Each student is being allotted 1 or 2 chapters. Therefore, he must buy the prescribed book, review 1 or 2 chapters, present the review paper in the classroom before all students. But in India, we are not doing this. Many teachers are dictating the old notes in the classroom. No, don't dictate the old notes in the classroom. Go to the classroom with the synoptic notes. Distribute them among the students. But give your own lecture with your beautiful body language, with your beautiful communication or effective communication. Then the third recommendation it made was financial support. That is very important because infrastructure is very important. Today we want very good classrooms. We want virtual classrooms. We want smart classrooms. We want good labs. We want good computers lab. We want all facilities. Old days are not, cannot be followed today. And from that point of that requires financial support. How to mobilize the financial support? Through grants, research grants. Friends, you remember, teachers can get crores of rupees from foreign funding agencies as well as from state funding agencies. You go to Tamil Nadu. Some of the colleges are well because they are getting money from various funding agencies, both in India and abroad. They prepare the research projects, minor projects, major projects, submit them, sometimes get their approval and get the money. BBC is there, Ford Foundation is there, American Fellowship, Fulbright Scholarship is there. I was a Fulbright scholar in 1982. Fulbright Scholarship is provided by the American federal government and it gives both a pre-doctoral fellowship and also a post-doctoral fellowship, not only for teaching, but also for research. Avenues are there. A lot of facilities are available. Even in India, you can submit your projects to the state governments, either to the Department of Social Welfare, or to the Science and Technology Department, or to the Department of Finance. Depending upon the nature of the project, you prepare, you submit. When you are unable to prepare your projects, Invite the experts to your colleges, arrange workshops, and try to know how to prepare the projects from the experts. Because there are some experts. You have got what you call College Development Council. College Development Council in each college is headed by what you call director. You can invite him. Or through him, you can invite the experts, both from India and abroad. That is why I said earlier, reading makes a full man. Conference a ready man. Conference means seminar, workshops, colloquium, even attending the programs like this, you will go a long way. Now you are meeting so many resource persons from different places for 1 month or for 20 days. You will listen to them. You will come to know where you stand. You come to know how you can get the information, how you can enlighten yourself. When you complete your program like this for 20 days or for 1 month, you should become a changed person, a transformed person, both mentally and physically. Your outlook should be changed. Your perception should be changed. Don't have narrow outlook. Don't have closed mind. Have an open mind. Have a broad mind. Knowledge is infinite. Nobody is superior to others. Everybody is a learner. There is something to know from others. And that is why, friends, the financial support is very important. And that leads to what it called continuous assessment of students. That's very important. Don't depending upon the annual formal examination. Students are to be assessed every day through colloquium, through lectures, through questions, through interactions. Encourage the students to ask questions in the classroom. You must make them more creative, more active, more attentive. Then only you will become a very good teacher. And further it mentioned accountability of the teachers. Teachers' accountability is very, very important. Don't think that your responsibility is over after completing the syllabus. No, that is not the thing. Not even the examination work. You have got your own role to play to develop the institution. You are the part and parcel of the institution. You should become an architect of the institution. Whether it is a private college or it is a government college. Even if you are a principal for 4 or 5 years, you must see that that whole college is transformed. Facilities are available. You must become active and even proactive. Now it is said 4 D principles are to be adopted to become a successful principal or a successful teacher. Number 1 is dedicated management, if it is a private one. Dedicated government, it is a government, if it is a public one. Number 2, dynamic principal. The principal or the head of the college should be very dynamic, academically, and also with regard to extra curricular activities, and also with regard to socially responsible activities. He must be very active. He must be very dynamic. That is why we call it a dynamic principal. He is like a mini vice chancellor of a college. Particularly if it is an autonomous college. No, in Tamil Nadu, there are so many colleges which are very big as universities, and the principals play a very decisive role in the development of these colleges. Number 3, devoted teachers. Teachers must be dedicated. Teachers must be devoted. They must maintain discipline. Discipline is the hallmark of a good teacher. Going to the classroom exactly at 10 o'clock. Going with a preparation, with reading the books, with synoptic notes, with very good lecture. Don't have any kind of pessimistic attitude. A teacher must have a smiling face. A teacher should have a very good dress. That is very important. Because when the teachers attending the class, when they deliver the lectures, they should see that they are like the actors. They are like the administrators. And from that point of view, we require devoted teachers. And lastly, disciplined students. When the first 3 are available, dynamic, dedicated management, dynamic principal, devoted teachers are there, then we get a disciplined students. When the students are disciplined, when they are well behaved, when they attend the classes regularly without any disturbance, when there is no chaos in the campus, that institution will become a great institution with a lot of research, with a lot of outlook. And from that point of view, friends, you must follow this D4 principle in order to make the institution a great one. The other important aspect is the what we call the XP excellence. And coming to the excellence, the Government of India, Union Education Ministry has adopted National Institutional Ranking Framework. And in 2025, there are 10 institutes of higher education which got 10th ranking places. IIT Madras, number 1. Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, number 2. IIT Bombay, number 3. IIT Delhi, number 4. IIT Kanpur, number 5. IIT Kharagpur, number 6. IIT Roorkee, number 7. Jawaharlal Nehru University, Delhi, number 9. Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi, number 10. Among the universities, particularly the last two, JNU, I have seen JNU, and I have also visited BHU. When you go to Varanasi, you visit the campus of the Banaras Hindu University. It has a very beautiful, spacious campus where Dr. Radhakrishnan taught, and I think he was the Vice Chancellor of this university for a few years during earlier period. 5 criteria are being adopted to evaluate the ranking of the institutes. Teaching, learning, and resources. That is very important. In America, friends, you remember, students select the courses depending upon the reputation of the teachers. They select the courses depending upon the reputation of the teachers. They devise the syllabus, they teach in the classroom, they evaluate the students. That is very important. For example, in political science earlier, there was a great professor called Margantho. Margantho was a professor of international politics. He wrote a classical work on international politics. People always selected the international politics because of Professor Margantho. That is very important. And there was also another person called E.H. Carr. He was also an expert in the field of international politics. Students who wanted to study international politics were looking his syllabus, looking his leadership and scholarship, and they selected. That is why, friend, the popularity of the teacher is so great in making the students to select a particular topic or a particular subject. Teaching is important, learning environment is important, and resources. Students should get all kinds of facilities, physical facilities, financial facilities, and the college campus must provide all. It should like an enclave. When I went to Michigan University in America, in 2006, I saw the campus is very compact, inclusive. The classes were conducted even at 10 o'clock in the night. Please remember, I am not exaggerating. I took the class from 8 to 10 in the night. My class were allotted. Students were there. They were staying on the campus. They were provided facilities, hostel facilities, meals facilities, other facilities, canteen facilities, everything. That kind of an atmosphere must be created to provide what you call quality education. Then research and professional practice. That's very important. Second criteria. What kind of research you are producing? How many articles are being produced? How they are being published? Are they being peer reviewed by journals? Are they being published in the international journals? Because quality of research is very important. Indian Institute of Science is one of the topmost institutes in the world today because of the quality research, because of the quality output. Whenever you go to Delhi, either Bangalore, visit this one and see how the campus is beautiful, greenery, how the intellectual atmosphere is being maintained. Therefore, research and professional practice is very important. Second criteria. Third criteria is graduation outcome. Third criterion. Graduation outcome. How many students pass out? What are their rankings? What are their placements? How they express their views about the ranking or about the quality of education. Fourth one is outreach and inclusivity. That is very important. How are you conducting any outreach activities? Are you providing accessibility to everybody in your institution? Inclusivity is very important. I told you earlier, that people from disadvantaged groups, from far-flung areas, from rural areas, from backward regions are to be given an opportunity to learn the higher education, to get the benefits of higher education. That is called inclusivity. And the NEP of 2020 emphasizes this aspect. Higher education should not benefit only elite classes or the urban students. It should benefit other students also. Then number 5, peer perception. Peer means, the individuals, the prominent people, how they look at the institution. Do they consider it as a good one or a bad one, or a desirable one, or a qualitative one? Now, these aspects clearly indicate, friends, that excellence has become very, very important in the field of what we call higher education. This aspect is being emphasized by several scholars, including NEP of 2020. Now, after discussing all these major issues, what are the challenges in the domain of higher education? There are several challenges which have been identified by several committees like Radhakrishnan Commission, Pitroda Commission, Kothari Commission, and even the earlier 1968 National Policy of Education, 1986 National Policy of Education, and finally, 2020 NEP, approved by the Government of India. The NEP of 2020 has identified 10 major problems of higher education in India. 10 major problems. What are they? Number 1, fragmented higher education system. There is no integrative higher education system. There is fragmented. Colleges are fragmented. There is no autonomy. There is no teachers' accountability. There is some sort of chaotic situation. There is no proper organization. Therefore, higher education system today is highly fragmented according to NEP of 2020. This is one. And you know how problems you are facing in your colleges and in your universities. Friends, once upon a time, Calcutta University was considered as one of the best universities in the world. But today, it has its own problem. It has its own challenges. Mysore University was considered as the first university in the state of Karnataka, established by Maharaja of Nalvadi Krishnaja Vadiyar in 1916. It has celebrated 100 years of its existence. Earlier, it was a very prestigious one, but today, it is suffering from various problems and the challenges. Lack of teachers, lack of facilities, lack of financial resources. So many problems are there. And from that point of view, friends, fragmented higher education system is the first major problem. Second one is less emphasis on cognitive skills today. Now we are by hearting. Our education system has become examination-oriented system. But NEP of 2020 doesn't want this. It wants to emphasize and to make the student to learn cognitive skills. What do you mean by cognitive skills? Perception, memory, and judgment. Application-oriented knowledge. Today we want skill-oriented knowledge. That's very important. Degrees are there without skills. But degrees must accompany skills also. Computer knowledge is very important, even for the teacher of political science, even for the student of political science. It is a must. You must know how to attend the virtual classroom and how to get benefit from the virtual classroom. And sometimes, people cannot understand what we call smart classroom or the virtual classroom. And sometimes they are not in a position to follow the principle of colloquium. Colloquium is very important. In well-organized universities, a teacher is asked to present a paper in the form of colloquium either once in a month or twice in a month. Therefore, he will be able to show his research mentality, his research ability. Number 3, rigid separation of disciplines. Yes, it is there. Today we call it a Department of Political Science, Department of Economics, Department of Mathematics, Department of Physics. This is not good according to NEP of 2020. We want multidisciplinary approach. We want integrated approach. We want interdisciplinary approach. NEP says a student can study economics in one semester. He can study political science in another semester. And in the third semester, he can go for either physics or chemistry, integrated knowledge. Yes, we have seen in the history. See, in political science, there was a great political thinker called John Locke. John Locke became a great political thinker, but by profession, he was a doctor. By profession, he was a doctor. When you look at Aristotle, Aristotle was like an encyclopedist. He was an astronomer. He was a man of biology. He was a man of, even social sciences, and he was a man of politics. He wrote his book called Politics. That became a classical work to develop the political science through the ages. Even Socrates, even Plato, they were all men of different disciplines. That is why, friends, you should have integrated knowledge. Don't confine only to one discipline. That is not good in the 21st century. Number 4, limited access to socio-economically disadvantaged areas. Today, colleges and universities are located only in the urban and semi-urban areas, but not in the far-flung areas. Earlier it was there, but now there is an improvement. But still it says, if you go to some of the states in Indian Union, like Manipur, Meghalaya, Nagaland, even Chhattisgarh, and even in a state like Uttar Pradesh, you find, in also Madhya Pradesh, you find many rural areas are deprived of the benefits of education. That should not be there. Even in Karnataka, recently, we have got many colleges, we have got many universities, but still, there are some backward regions which have not been able to, get the benefits of higher education. This is the major problem according to NEP of 2020. Then fifth one, limited teachers and a limited institutional autonomy. Recently, there was a press report in the Vijay Karnataka, in Karnataka. Many universities in Karnataka have vacancies more than 50%, 60%. In the University of Mysore itself, nearly 300 teaching posts are vacant. In my own department, political science, it is being headed by only one teacher and managed by the research scholars and the guest lecturers. How can you expect the quality of teaching from the guest lecturers or from the research scholars, particularly in the PG education, postgraduate education? When we were students, we had good stalwarts, very good teachers. When I was there, we were about 8 to 10 people. Full department was full with qualified teachers and also with outstanding contribution both in teaching and research. But today, there is no recruitment at all. I do not know why since 2007, recruitment has been stopped. Not only in Karnataka, but also in other states and even by the central government. Even in the central universities, 30 to 40% of the teaching posts are vacant. What is the reason? The government is not giving importance. It is something, which is shocking. How even a person like Modi has not given importance to, the recruitment of the teachers, which is very, very important. Institutional autonomy. Now, still we believe, friends, in the affiliation system. We don't want autonomy. Many teachers have got bad perception about autonomy. Autonomy means their responsibility will be increased, their salary will be cut. No, not at all. Nothing to do with your salary or with your service conditions. You will have academic autonomy to frame your syllabus, to conduct your examination, to announce your result, and to award the degrees under the name of a parent university. Go to Tamil Nadu. I request all of you, whenever you get an opportunity to visit Madras or Coimbatore, visit Presidency College in Madras, Madras Christian College, you find how autonomy is working. Teachers are making to work. Teachers are very happy. They are getting a lot of funds from the funding agencies, both from India and abroad. That is why, friend, NEP of 2020 is also emphasizing institutional autonomy. Autonomous colleges are very, very important. When I was the director of the Academic Staff College here, 20 years ago, we conducted a seminar on autonomy. We invited experts from Delhi and other places. And ultimately, we submitted the report to the government of Karnataka. The minister accepted. And today, we have got about 15 autonomous colleges in the state of Karnataka. In Mysore alone, we have got 3-4 autonomous colleges, including the Yurajas College, JSS College, Ooty Road. Whenever you are in Mysore, visit these colleges, how they are doing well. Autonomous colleges are very important. That is why academically you will be free from affiliating a system. Affiliate system has become outdated. Even in England, they have given it up. But in India, still we are following. Number 6, inadequate mechanism for career management. Inadequate mechanism. No placement cell, no employment cell. No, there is no proper career management system in the colleges and in the universities. That is another major problem. Then the 7th one is less emphasis on research in many universities. Yes, it is a fact. Many universities are not research oriented. They are only teaching oriented. It is very unfortunate in many India. If you go to JNU, Delhi University, Banaras Hindu University, and Indian Institute of Science, and IITs in different places, they are doing very well in the field of research. They are doing very well. They are publishing the research findings in foreign journals and peer-reviewed journals. But in many universities, they confine only to teaching because of lack of facilities. This is another problem. Then, 8th one is suboptimal governance and leadership. There is no proper leadership and proper governance of the institutions. No vice chancellors. Vice chancellor appointed for the universities. But today, vice chancellors have no effective role at all. Earlier, we had a very good, vice chancellors. For example, Lakshmana Swami Madaliya. He was the vice chancellor of Madras University for 25 years, I learned. For 25 years. Dr. Radhakrishnan. He was the VC of Andhra University at Voltaire, and he was the vice chancellor of Banaras Hindu University in Varanasi. They played a very significant role in the development. In Dharwad, in Karnataka University, we had Pavate, DC Pavate, who became the governor of Punjab later. He played a very important role. Even in Mysore, we had two experts, from other states as vice chancellor. One was K.M. Panikar. He was an historian. He was our ambassador to China. He was the vice chancellor of our university during early 1960s, but he died within short time. Then we had K.L. Srimali, who was the education minister in the Nehru cabinet, who resigned in 1963. He was appointed as vice chancellor of Mysore University. He played a very important role in the development of the Mysore University. He brought a lot of money from the central government because of his connection with the central government. And he was a close friend of Morarji Desai, who was the finance minister at that time. That shows in the selection of the vice chancellors, the government must play a very important role so that the university will improve, because the advancement of university, the reputation of the university is depending upon the reputation of the vice chancellor, how he is tall, how he is a scholar and all that. Number 9, ineffective regulatory system. That is another point. Ineffective regulatory. NAC is there to assess and accredit. I visited several colleges and universities across the country for 20 years. But now I have stopped going there. Now they have changed their curriculum. But when we visited several colleges and universities, we found many defects in the regulatory system, in the what you call ensuring quality of education. And therefore, NAC advocated several measures to improve the infrastructure and thereby to ensure the quality of education. And 10th one is affiliating system, which I mentioned earlier, affiliated college system. We have given up, the autonomy in the name of affiliated system, and that is not a very proper method, because affiliate system has become outdated. And from that point of view, the NEP has recommended 9 key changes to overcome these problems. 9 key changes. You go to the report, like employability, flexibility, autonomy, and also what you call the development of the institution and all that. From that point of view, friends, even before the state universities, there are several problems, and these problems are still there. And from that point of view, the governments of state governments and also the central government must take, what we call proper methods to rectify, these defects. Then another thing is, problem is political interference in the appointment of vice chancellors. This is very important. As soon as a teacher becomes professor, he competes to become the vice chancellor. He forgets both the teaching and the research. It is very unfortunate. We do not know how today the appointment of vice chancellors in many universities has been highly politicized, and also highly, become very attractive. This is another problem we have to see. And the third problem is revitalization of social sciences and the humanities. We are forgetting. Today, in the name of computer knowledge, computer application, we are forgetting the social sciences. I am happy that NEP of 2020 has emphasized a multidisciplinary approach by giving equal importance to social sciences and humanities. Social sciences are as important as physical sciences, or biological sciences, or natural sciences, or any branch of knowledge. STEM alone is not important. Other subjects are also important. Economics, for example, it is the queen of social sciences. Political science, it is the king of social sciences. Because political science makes the student to understand what are the human rights, what are the principles of secularism, principles of fraternity, principles of parliamentary form of government, what are the values of the human rights, social responsibility, social problem, social issues, welfare issues. All these can be analyzed and understood. And therefore, science alone is not important. Other subjects are also important. And therefore, the students may be facilitated, may be encouraged to read all the subjects, and that comes under the category of interdisciplinary approach, multidisciplinary approach. Therefore, separation of the subjects must be closed according to NEP of 2020, and that is your responsibility. As I told you earlier, friends, the popularity of the subject, the relevance of the subject is depending upon the quality of the teachers. Teach a very important role in the revitalization of their subjects. Computer science alone is not important. Please you keep that in mind. Languages. Today languages are very important. Whether it is English language or Kannada or Hindi or any other language. Because it is a language which makes you to become a good communicator. Good communication is very important. A good teacher is one who communicates very effectively, who communicates very clearly. That is very important. Don't by heart in the classroom. Don't read your lectures in the classroom, but speak without seeing your notes. That requires scholarship and leadership. Then the other important problem today is public versus private universities. Yes, this is there. Private universities are ensuring, the quality, competition, and also international role. And from that point of view, private universities provide very good infrastructure. And from primary level to university level, private institutions in urban areas play a very important role. They provide good facilities, they provide good infrastructure, they recruit competent teachers. Even retired teachers are recruited by them. They want to ensure quality. They encourage the teacher to publish research papers, both in the international and the national journals, and thereby they want to assure the quality and job orientation. Whereas the public universities, sometimes, many of them, it is very difficult for them to challenge or to compete with them because of so many difficulties they are facing. From that point of view, friends, you remember that the teachers must also play a very important role in the ensuring what we call quality of education. Then the last aspect of this problem is the problem of implementation of the RUSA, Rashtriya Uchatara Shikshana Abhiyan, was introduced by the government of India in 2013, 13 years ago. It is a very important financial scheme to reform the state institutions of higher education, both colleges and also universities. It is largely based on the conditional release of grants linked to reforms in the key areas of governance of institutions. Very important. Leadership of an institution is very important, whether at the college level or at the university level. A leadership, you must be very proactive. You must be a very pro-dynamic, I told you earlier. Very, very important. You must be very creative. There are some people who come and sit and go away. No, that is not the one. You should act as the creator of the new environment, innovator of the new environment, whether it is a private one or a public one. Governance is very important. Learning, teaching outcomes, that is very important. How you are encouraging quality learning, quality teaching, and quality outcome. That also being assessed by the government. and reaching one to the unreached, that is very important. Those who are disadvantaged groups, for them to help them, reaching the unreached, that is very important. And infrastructure support. If these are attended by the institution, it is eligible to get grants under RUSA program. And you have seen many colleges across the country are getting the funds under this scheme, and they are also improving their what you call infrastructure facilities and other educational facilities. Under the RUSA, states and institutions have to give an undertaking. That is very important. Undertaking, expressing their willingness to the idea of reform and agreeing to meet what you call the conditions of the UGC, the conditions of the state, central government. Then only money will be released. And to improve learning teaching outcomes, there is an effort towards improving what we call pedagogy. Pedagogy means teaching an art. It is a science of art, and also teaching, selection of teachers in a transparent manner, adoption of accreditation as a mandatory quality assurance system, implementing the semester system, and also choice-based system. These will go a long way, to get the funds or the financial assistance under the RUSA program. Therefore, friends, under these circumstances, the domain of higher education in India is facing so many issues, so many problems, and so many challenges. But we need not become pessimistic. India is capable of overcoming these problems, and NEP wants to implement itself from 2030 to 2040. Many state governments are opposing, particularly non-BJP governments like Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and even West Bengal. Some of them, are opposing the NEP. Karnataka government has tried to adopt its own SEP, state education policy, but still it is in the process of adopting it completely. But you cannot totally ignore, the national policy of education, because under the Indian federal system, center is more powerful than the state governments. Center is giving more funds financially, legislatively, administratively. The center has paramount power over the state governments. From that point of view, the state governments must cooperate with the center in adopting the good principles of the NEP, because it says if NEP of 2020 is implemented, India can emerge as a Vishwaguru. India can emerge as a Vishwaguru. That is the aim. And Indians are capable of doing this. Indian teachers are very intelligent. They are doing very well abroad whenever they go there as teaching faculty in various countries, particularly in the United States, Britain, Australia, New Zealand, and other countries. And they are hardworking people. But in India, they are to be motivated. That is very, very important. And that is why, friends, the problems are there, challenges are there. But in spite of that, we can overcome them. And it also the responsibility of we teachers. You teachers are very important. Your role is also very important. Don't pass the buck on the central government or the state governments. You can also play a very important role in the quality improvement, both in teaching and research. With this, I would stop here, and we have got 5 minutes. If there are questions, welcome. Comments, welcome. Any comment, any question? Welcome. Yes, we have got 10 minutes. The questions ಕೇಳಕ್ಕೆ. ಇನ್ನು 10 minutes.
Sir, I have one question, sir.
Please.